And I'm driving home the faith with Larry Chapp, and we're talking about a piece called "We Must Build" by Andrew Warfield, and the subtitle is "Recovering Catholic Geography." And I want to seize upon that geography in a second here, but before I do that, Larry, I want to read another couple of sentences from this piece and get your thoughts on it. He says, "The collapse of the laity and the priesthood are not two separate crises. Vocations are formed from the practicing laity, so smaller laity means fewer priests." And he says it's no coincidence that vocations have fallen. But then he says this, and again, these are remarkable sentences, and he has the footnotes to back them up. "Measured against the nominal Catholic population, vocations have collapsed. Measured against the Catholics who still practice it, vocations have never collapsed. The vocation pipeline is not broken. Its source is dying." And once again, this goes back to our prior discussion about the collapse of church attendance leading to the so-called vocations crisis rather than a vocations crisis itself.
We solved the problem of lukewarm Catholics, nominal Catholics, falling away from the church and not getting their kids baptized, not getting married in church, and not going to Mass. If we solve that problem, we'll solve the priestly vocation problem at exactly the same time.
Yeah.
So we would be remiss. I mean, why did he call the article let's build or whatever?
Yeah.
I can't remember the title.
We must build, recovering Catholic geography.
Yeah, we must build. What he's talking about is very similar to sort of like the front porch republic kind of guy.
Absolutely. That's exactly you read my mind, Larry. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but you read my mind.
Well, the reason why I say that is because he really does come down hard on suburbanization, because the suburbs are characterized by an ethos of individualism, an atomized existence, a detachment from community. What really is causing the demise of Catholic parish life is the demise of the old urban communities and the Catholic school system. Because, when you send your kids to a Catholic school, it connects you with that parish in ways that are really hard to calculate. So it's secularization and suburbanization that has then led to this sort of detachment from parish life. I'm reminded of my friend Rodney Hauser, Dr. Hauser, my old colleague from DeSales. He said the two greatest horrible inventions of our time in the suburbs was the attached garage with the garage opener and air conditioning. The attached garage with garage opener means you don't park on the street, you don't park in your driveway, you never see your neighbors. You drive into your garage, shut the door behind you, and go inside. But then with the rise of air, I know this from this house that I live in here in Scranton now. Huge, it's an old house built in the 20s. Huge front porch. All right, every house had a front porch back in the. Why? Because they didn't have air conditioning. Because in the summertime, you went on your front porch to escape the heat. But that also built community because you connect with everybody else out on their front porch and their kids. It built community. So that's what he is really going after in this article as the main cause of the demise of Catholic participation. I think that the article is a bit deficient in the sense that other causes could also be identified, but I think he's onto something important.
No, I agree with you. I agree on both points that he's onto something important and that there are other causes that could be identified. And this front porch republic, a phrase that you used, that actually is an effort a few years ago that Patrick Deneen and some others, I don't know really if it's active right now, but they were publishing articles on Front Porch Republic website or Substack or something like that, talking about that very thing. In fact, I had Patrick Deneen on the show a couple of weeks ago talking about his new book, American Odyssey, in which he used, much to some of my listeners' chagrin, the movie It's a Wonderful Life to illustrate that suburbanization. In his piece, in this piece that we've been discussing by Andrew Warfield, We Must Build, Recovering Catholic Geography, he says this: every Sunday, the 3,000-car parking lot of the non-denominational megachurch near your house, and there's one near mine, overflows with people from 30 miles around. The church has 3 worship services, a bookstore, and a coffee shop, and it's only open on Sundays. People spend an hour there at the most. This is the epitome of the American Christian life, a sealed compartment where one can come and go at will, separated from every other part of life, Though this is the stereotypical form of American Christianity, its roots run much deeper. And that's exactly what you've been talking about, Larry, that we don't have any sense of community. And this horse has left the barn. So it's not like we're going to say, how do we revive this? Although he does suggest ways that we can try to do this. I could walk to my parish church, but it would take about 40 minutes. And, that's a pretty long walk. And the fact is, I live in one of these suburbs. I don't have a front porch. I have a big back deck, but not a front porch. So in some sense, I'm I'm a part of the problem, I have to confess.
Well, you have a back deck because you had a backyard. And the fact is,
exactly.
Houses are built without front yards anymore.
Yeah.
I grew up without a front porch because the house I grew up in really had very little front yard. It had a big backyard. But anyway, so, we build these decks out back so we can go hide from our neighbors.
Well,
But, it's interesting. I know from having moved here to Scranton, getting this old house, and we have the front porch. We've been out on our front porch all summer. I cannot tell you how many people in my neighborhood I have gotten to know as they're walking their dogs, walking their kids, and so there is something to this idea of suburbia had become a sort of hermetically sealed compartment where you go to inside and outside of your home, and there's a disconnectedness there.
I've been speaking with Larry Chapp about an essay proposing a solution to the problem of priests. Whether the solution is realistic or not, only time will tell. Larry, thanks for being with us today on Driving Home the Faith.
You're welcome.